And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another week, another edition here of the PiGosaur Cup. PiGosaur Cup number 76, your weekly dose of PiGosaur Cup action. I'm of course VIP with you, and joined by these amazing players and by the people in the chat as well. Welcome, welcome, and all. I do apologize for going live a little bit late here today, just on some technical issues. We had some tech issues coming into the stream, and it took a while to resolve them, but should be all good. Should be all good. Should be all fixed as we can now settle into our broadcast. Let's go, Bible, let's go. Let's get curious again. This is going to be a replay cast of PiGosaur Cup number 76. Again, we are just now catching up with all the previous PiGosaur Cups we did miss out on. Every now and then, you know, we would miss one, something would come up and weren't quite available, but now we're here to fully catch up with PiGosaur Cup just in time for tomorrow to go live with PiGosaur Cup number 80, if I'm not mistaken. Or is it 79? 80, yeah. 80 is this week, so we should be able to catch up with PiGosaur Cup live, of course, with all the live coverage, but otherwise today we're just still playing catch up. Let's go. We're going to be jumping into the quarterfinals, jumping into a TvT between Cure and Percival. Let's go. Let us go. We have our first matchup. We have our first series. Likewise, later on tonight, we are going to be going live with the Sparkling Tuna Cup. The Tuna Cup is going to be live this evening. Bearing in mind that Tuna Cups are usually over the weekend, but the reason why Tuna Cup is tonight is because of RSL. We don't want to clash with our rival StarCraft League. It's another big major event that's going on, so waiting for it to conclude. Until then, we are going to be hosting it during the week instead. During the week, but here we go. We're jumping into our series, jumping into our first matchup, and spawning in the top left hand corner of Ruby Rock, we have the orange Terran player, the South Korean Terran, representing Team Liquid. It is Cure. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the red Terran player, we have the South Korean Terran. It is Percival. Let's go. Let us go. We are jumping into our TvT, and what I will say is that Percival has been improving his Terran versus Terran quite heavily over the past couple of months. Again, Cure is coming as a favorite player, but Percival, he has been playing and beating Bjorn on a very regular basis. Beating him in GSL, beating him in Open Cups. So Percival, his TvT has been improving quite heavily. Big reason for that is just a non-stop TvT practice against players like Bunny, Bjorn, Cure, Maru, Ryung. There's a lot of Terran players in Korea, and Percival, his TvT has been forged through the flames of the Korean server, and is honestly quite solid nowadays. Honestly, quite solid. I still stand by saying that Percival, his current weakest matchup is TvZ, but against Terran and against Protoss, he does excel. Actually, he's a very fast player. He does thrive when it comes to timing attacks and when it comes to multi-pronged aggression coming into the mid game as well. We'll see if he can get there. TvT can be very chaotic, of course. So far, double gas opener out of Cure, single gas out of Percival. This means that Percival is going for a faster CC, is going for a more economic start. Instead, the pressure is going to be on the orange Terran to get some damage done. Also, welcome to Ruby Rock. Ruby Rock is one of the smaller maps of the map pool, typically does favor aggression and all-in, so that's the direction that we're going to be heading in. We'll see if we try to slow things down and embrace a longer game state. For the most part, though, we're expecting aggression out of our two players. Now that we are going to be settling in, and we'll see where Cure takes us, whether we go Reactor Reaper Hellion, a commitment into Cyclones, tank play, into Woodmine drop, or into drop play, or into even earlier Banshees with the faster factory to faster starport. Is Cure 1-to-1 base all in? He is definitely 1-to-1 base all in other matchups. I'm thinking of TVP specifically, but in TvT, unless you're proxying, like, you should be opening up in a standard fashion and expanding. There it is. The CC is going to be on the way. The initial Reaper does make its way across the map as well. Ooh, and I believe Cure does shoot first. It's close. Yeah, it's quite close. Percival, he does back off, does pull away. Coming in with a surround. Oh my god. Very nice flank, and Cure has to get the hell out of here, has to pull out, and has to retreat. Oh boy. There we go. Does pull away, does retreat. From here, we're going to be securing ourselves bunkers on the way, CC on the low ground as well, and again, Percival so far looking good. Behind this, it is going to be Reaper Hellion, no reactor in sight, but a commitment nonetheless. The goal here is to get economic damage. Bearing in mind that Reaper Hellion does not scale well into a longer economic game, it does have a bit of a lifespan on it, so you do have to get damage as quickly as possible with this. Bust into the middle line to get some SCVs before you do get outscaled. Speaking of, dipping into main. Hellion doesn't come into play, but takes down the Marine. Yeah, it overwhelms the Marine, overwhelms the Reaper as well, gets an SCV, but the Hellion will deter. Will deflect. So Percival, he does defend, does bleed out a Marine, does bleed out an SCV, but so far some sustainable losses here. can sustain them. Ooh, as we're just diving right into the mineral line. Does dive in, quick reaction, SCV gets pulled away. Oh, one SCV still gets caught. Losing one, losing two. So far, very nice damage here by Cure. If you recall, we just mentioned how Cure, the onus is on him to get damage done when you open up Reaper Heli like this, and so far he is doing damage. Everywhere is going to be cleaned up, but again, 3 SCV kills in total, not a bad trade. Give me another. Oh, one more volley. Ooh, not quite. Not quite here. The Hellion does survive. In the end, Cure is cleaned up, and again, Cure was able to take down 3 SCVs and 3 Marines. In doing so, Cure evens up the worker counts. Remember, Cure was behind. He was behind economically because of his build, because of his late CC, so killing all those workers actually evened things up. Ideally, he would have liked to have gotten ahead, but regardless, does even things up. Behind this, building up his own biotank setup. Ooh, and Percival, he does rush into a 3rd CC. Hyper greed out of Percival. With this, with a faster 3rd CC, he'll have a faster 2-base saturation, and of course, faster 3-base saturation as well, into a boosted economy, into a stronger mid-game. That is at least the goal here for Percival, to have that advantage. Meanwhile, Cure, he's going for his own tank production, his own Raven production, slightly later 3rd base, but not by too much. This does mean that Cure is going to have the greater main army. The greater main army here, he's going to have the higher tank counts, and that is something that Percival's going to have to overcome. Good play. It's going to come down to positional play, of course. Percival also opting to go for the faster stim. You can see here there's still no tanks, by the way. Still no tank production out of Percival. This is risky. Tanks are typically the bread and butter of TvT. They can be very difficult to break, but of course, going for a faster stim, going for more Raxes already, this does lead into a more mobile composition from Percival to be able to counterattack, bypass the army, or even stim into the army and into tanks and try to catch them out unattended. So this is very Beyond-esque here, which is typically how Percival does play TvT. Again, it's a very active style, and it's high risk, high reward, right? It's like if you're able to outmaneuver and outposition and get away with this drop play and get away with these dives, then you can excel. But if you fail to, ooh, as the Raven does barely get out of range of that lock-on. But if you fail to get damage done, then you just get outscaled. So here we go. Initially, we do have a couple of SCV kills. Raven does get behind the mineral line, does get 2 SCVs across the map, but likewise 4 SCVs also did go down as well. I believe the Raven did survive. Yeah, Raven does make it back. It's just a missional Raven harass. Here does pick out with his main army. The Mivek got spotted. Percival is aware, and Percival, he's got 1 tank against the 3 of Cure. Bearing in mind disables are a factor as well. Oh, the flank, and he gets spotted. Yeah, he does get spotted, and 1 second gets picked off immediately. Yeah, Cure catching Percival out. Percival, he's in danger, he's in trouble. Go to the Raven. Oh, we'll lose one actually. Oh my god, Raven goes down. That should not have happened. Yeah, massive pickoff. Now there's no disable. There's not enough energy for the disable. The first tank may be able to hold on. Here come the counter disables. That's 1. Oh. Yeah, a bit of a waste there when it comes to that disable. In the end, runs out. Depot falls. And Percival is being contained. Being contained, a nice disable as tanks, they once again get within range. Sniping another tank. And again, sure, it's nice that Percival, he got early stim and he got early Marines, but like he cannot keep up. Not like this. He's got a flanking Marine army. He's stimming in. He's going for it. Yeah, does go for the dive. Does disable one of the tanks. The other 2, they focus fire. Yeah, they focus fire the Marines. Marines are going down. Tanks do fall. Percival's holding. He is holding on here. Did cost him a couple of SCVs, but again, he does hold on. Behind this, Cure is on 3 bases. He's freely mining here on 3 bases. Likewise, Viking harass into the main. He jumps in. Jumps into the main base, catching up 5 SCVs. Can we get a tank as well? Ooh, not quite hopping up. Nice control. Nice micro. The Vikings have to pull away. Ooh, another Viking does get picked off. So a little bit messy here by Cure. But at least Percival survived. He was able to survive, able to barely hang on there. Barely cleaned up all the tanks, barely held on, did cost him all his marines, but hey, he claims his third. Now Percival is still behind. He's very far behind actually in the worker count. So things are looking very, very rough here for Percival. We have to get something done. He does have medevacs, he's got drop play available to him. He doesn't really have many marines though, unfortunately, because of all the losses earlier, and now even more CV losses. Yeah, we're committing. We're just committing with everything. Scan reveals the move out, so Curie, he's now fully aware. He's setting up back at home. He's got his sensor tower, he's got his tank line. So far, so good. Cheeky move out of Percival, going for the Doom job. Liberator to siege, 12 SCV kills. Again, Percival, he's all in. He's completely all in. There's a turret in position. Curie's main army is not. Medevac save boost in. It's all or nothing. Does go for the siege. Boys are being pulled. We're trying to get on top of the tanks. And the last Curie does not get in. He does not get on top of the tanks, not yet. Waiting for his reinforcements. Waiting for the flank. Ready for the surround. Oof. Brutal tank shots. Nice target firing at a Percival. Does get one of the tanks, but Curie will clean this up. And he'll clean this up. Dives on top of the tanks. One. Both tanks go down. And with that, Curie still maintains the worker lead, still maintains his 3 bases, and still maintains the larger army as well. And that was it. Oof. So harass continues. Yeah, Percival moving in with a second army. But again, it's smaller than the first. To move in. Thankfully, I believe the Raven count was reset. No, the Ravens are harassing. Okay. I was going to say if we still have Ravens, we can disable the tanks and then break through, but alas, they are harassing across the map instead, killing more and more SCVs. That's 7. That's going to be 8, 9, 8. 8 SCVs go down. Medevac dropping to the main base. Once again, we have additional turrets this time. Turrets to deflect. And here comes Cure. Oh, the tank though. He's gonna respect the siege line. Cure, he needs to respect it. Oof, Percival gets caught. Percival is called out. Likewise does dive into natural. Massive Jesus, he takes over the control of this area. Of the entrance. Oh no, the tank shots. Oh my god, massive connections. The Marines get punished by the tanks. Curie gets in, GG gets called, and Curie takes game number 1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Curie does take a lead in the series. Once again, winding it all the way back here, it came down to the initial openers. Percival, he tried to go for a greedy build, went for faster TC, and we saw that Curie did punish him. Curie moved that across the map. He was able to lay siege upon the attempted third location, was able to take better fights, better trades, harass at the same time, and take a massive lead from there. From then on forward, it was Percival playing from behind. Just playing from behind, trying to catch up, and alas, was not able to. GG. GG well played. With that, Q takes the lead in the series, and we'll see if we can shift gears here. Again, Percival, he went for a greedier build instead. We'll see if we do shift gears and open up more aggressively as we load into Tourmaline, one of, if not the most aggressive map in the map pool. Let's go. Let us go. Again, Tourmaline has a very short rush distance by ground, very accessible bases. Again, we do often see shorter games here. And again, Percival, he was mainly going for a more greedier, more economic style here on Ruby Rock, which is surprising to me. We'll see if he does commit to that or if he does change that. As in the bottom left-hand corner of Tourmaline, we have the orange Terran player. We have the South Korean Terran representing Team Liquid. It is Kyo. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the blue Terran player, the South Korean Terran. It is Percival. as we are going to be settling on in. From here, we'll see how we open up. Again, Cure last game did go for a double gas opener into a more aggressive style. We saw Percival go for the more economic opener instead. We'll see if that trend continues here. Again, welcome to Tourmaline. Tourmaline, shorter rush distance, expose and open natural base, expose and open area outside of the natural, direct rush distance across the map. There's nothing to really stop any kind of push except for the terrain here, except for the specifically tall grass in the dead center. Outside of that, it's just a direct path across the map instead. And aggression is often favored here. It's quite rare to see longer and later games on Tourmaline. Not saying we'll never see it, like it still does happen. Still does happen from time to time, but for the most part, aggression is what we're looking for here. And we'll see. I mean, so far already, no proxies. No proxies, no shenanigans. So far, everything's on the up and up. The Raxes are in their respective main bases. And once again, Percival does go for an economic build. This time, so does Cure. Mirrored builds. Mirrored builds here. Faster CCs on the low ground. Again, there's that natural factory follow-up. Last game we saw that Percival did go for a more marine heavy composition, and in the end it did not pay off. In the end, his bio armor was still just completely shut down by the mass tank. But it was also on the back foot, to be fair. It's on the back foot. Now, despite the initial openers here, it is going to be a faster factory out of Percival. Cure instead is going for a bit of a later one. As he did open up Reaper. Percival opened up Marine. So again, Percival, he basically held onto his gas and spent it on his factory. Meanwhile, Cure did go for Reapers for early game map control as he moves out. Does move out. Percival moving out with his own as well. Just the one though. Just the one, then into Marine, then into Bunker. Percival, he will delay the CC. Okay, not bad. It's gonna be close. Can he get it? Oh my god, barely doesn't delay the command center. Does kill the SCV, but alas, the CC does complete. Gets into the main base. Hey, kills another worker. This time does lay the factory. Lays the factory. Hellion pops up back at home. Catching out the Reapers. We'll clean them up. They get scouting information at least, but only scouting information. And that Reaper is still wreaking havoc in the main base, by the way. Still more damage. 3 SCVs, 9 mining time. This is a brutal start for Cure. This one Reaper is popping up. And even scouts the 3rd CC. Wow, faster CC this time from Cure, and Percival's fully aware. He even kills the SCV. 4 SCV kills, 9 mining, full scout as well, and even delays in a kind of follow-up aggression. This is a very rough start here for Cure. Yeah, it's a shaky start. Percival, you can pull back to the tall grass. Doesn't get baited. Cure does not get baited. He does pull back. Getting to his own delayed starports. Meanwhile, faster medevac and faster push out of Percival. Again, he knows about the greed. He knows that he's coming. He's rallying across. With everything he has. Once again, does move out. And again, back in home, it's going to be a tough hold. There's going to be one tank in a couple of seconds. It's going to be one tank to defend. Percival moves in. What does he lock onto? The Reaper. Yeah, Reaper's going to be focused down. Reaper does fall. Boys are being pulled. So far, good kiting here by Percival. He does pull away. And he will kill every SCV here. Oh, the juggling saves the Cyclone. 7 SCV kills. Does drop into the main. Rotate in. Can we lock onto the tank? We can. Yeah, tank is locked onto, taking a lot of hits, a lot of damage. Oh my god, still within range. Jesus. As the tank almost goes down. Again, that's the backbone of the army here for Cure. Gotta be careful. Meanwhile, big shout out to Super Kaito in the chat. Yeah, thanks so much. Thanks so much for subscribing for 48 months. That's a lot of months, Papi. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Hope you enjoy the content, the casting, the StarCraft. Good to see you, Papi. Good to see you. Thank you for the support. So we do catch out 3 more CVs. Again, the drop play continues here. Likewise, Raven Harris into the natural, and Cure's just being torn apart. Despite the faster CC, he's still miles behind economically. The Viking will zone away the Raven. Drop into the mineral line and catching out, denying more mining, getting another SCV. As Raven does not get away. Massive pickoff. Okay, something going Cure's way. Takes down the Raven, still down in workers, still down in economy. Now, I believe what Cure does have is a tank lead. Yes, he has 3 tanks to 2. So technically tank advantage in favor of Cure. Does have that advantage. Cure moves out across the map. So it's time to push. Vikings are massing out for Percival, trying to fight for air control. When it comes to the Ravens, we have 1 and 1. Disable is not actually upgraded for Cure. He does have an auto turret though. He has a turret. Ah, no. Oh, and yeah, we have more Vikings. Percival has more Vikings. He can pull back the army. You can also disable the tank as well. Percival, he has the advantage. And Cure still cannot move in. He's besieged. Ooh. Vikings, they almost catch out the Viking of Cure. Casito. Cure slowly backs off. Does get spotted. Here comes the chase. At the same time, a drop distracting across the map. Ooh, doesn't quite unload. Just a handful of Marines. We're gearing up with a couple of disables. He has what, 2? Doesn't quite commit. From here, you can get a 4th CC. So now he rotates. He rotates over towards the 3rd. Cure will see if he can keep up with that rotation. Oh, gee, accidentally pulled the boys. And the armies, they spot each other. Oh. Now, Cure, I believe he has taken a Viking advantage now. He's got 7 to 6. Let's go the Vikings. As the armies are distracted, Marines, they go for a massive counterattack. Back at home, there's only a handful of Marines to defend. Yeah, not enough for Cure. Gets into the middle line, more SCV kills, critical damage here. I mean, Percival, he was already ahead. Now he kills 20 SCVs. 21 SCV kills, insane damage. Don't like this. Don't like this. Oh boy. Now, a massive mistake and a massive blunder when it comes to a main fight. Percival, he should be able to run away with this. There's always a chance, of course, there's always a chance that Percival, he miscontrols, Cure is pre-siege, and then Cure gets like 1 or 2 volleys off in the main army, does kill a couple of tanks early on, and then things go in his favor. Or even here where we throw away some drops, then we run into Marines. Like, there are some opportunities here for Cure, but as I'm kind of alluding to, Cure is hoping and relying on Percival making mistakes. Like, Percival, it's on him to make mistakes, and then Cure to try to capitalize on that. Or you could argue for Cure to try to force mistakes and try to keep apart some of the attention of Percival and take advantage of that as well. It is difficult when you have the deficit, and we have such a deficit as this to try to force mistakes. But that is the hope for Cure. As for now, he's just turtling up. He's turtling up. Best case scenario is that Percival, he tries to attack into the siege line. I still think that Percival can, just straight up can, but be the best fight that Cure could hope for. Percival, he does commit. Scan ahead of time. And here comes our first disable. Gets 1. And tanks stay siege. Armor shot here on the Vikings. Ooh, and Cure, he might win the battle in the sky. That looks like he barely will. He's got the Viking advantage. Raven does get picked off. But Percival down to 1 Viking. That's just the one. In the end, I would say that was a better fight for Percival, assuming that he retained his right. No. So both players, they traded their Ravens. Kira maintains the Viking lead. Percival, he's ahead in tanks and heavily ahead in bio in Marines. Vision's being denied. Vikings are repositioning. First, we're taking more bases, taking more control. We have a 5th CC on the way. More expansions, Pat. Kira is going for a big counter attack. I mean, it's a bit of a Hail Mary play. Percival, he's maxed. Kira commits into the main. There is an opening here. There are a couple of turrets that will deter. Nice spread against the tanks. Gets 1. Do we get 2? Does get 2 tanks here. Not bad. So two tanks here down to the 3rd. Marine drop into the main base. Medevacs do full, but hey, on those, and SCVs are falling. So not a bad trade here by Kira. He does get 9, 10, 11 SCVs. Very nice. 13 SCV kills. A messy defense here by Percival. He actually F2'd all the way back home with everything. Oof. Yeah, did race back. Now, the scary thing here is that was a bunch of supply for Cure, and Cure, he was not maxing out. So he's down in supply here. But again, he does cripple some of the economy, and Cure actually takes a worker lead. It's difficult for Percival because he just can't push in. Until now. Cure on sieges. Okay, big on siege. Curie moves out of position, which means now there's a massive opening here at the 3rd. Percival doesn't know. He doesn't know. That would be the time. Percival gets scanned. Curie rotates back over, establishing a 4th base, and Percival cannot let this get up and running. It's now moving in. There's a scan. Liberation has arrived. Sets up the freedom zones. He does get 1, 2, 3 tanks. Likewise, Cure still has the higher Viking count, but that's still 3 tanks going down and a tank shot on the Marines. So better initial engage. Marines, they do get into the middle line. There's 16 SCVs going down, dropping further into the main, and Cure's being torn apart. Just being torn apart. Cure, he almost recovered. He almost stabilized. He was on the way. He was on the way of doing so. But in the end, he cannot quite keep up. Not with the loss, not with the disadvantage he had coming into the mid game. Again, still difficult pushing into a siege line without liberators. So 2 more starports on the way for Percival. 2 more starports. TvT equals easy. I mean, if you don't watch a lot of StarCraft, then TvT is typically a little more aggressive and a little more high octane. The reasoning for this is Cure fell behind early on. Cure fell behind early on, so he's just been turtling the entire time. Like he's like that's basically what we've been seeing here. Is that Cure, he lost map control, he lost momentum, so he's been stuck at home. But usually, as you saw in game 1, like it's typically a little more aggressive and a little more high octane when it comes to Terran versus Terran. I would say that there were opportunities for Percival to try to end the game earlier and maintain his lead, but he wasn't quite able to find them. Percival has built up to 7 Ravens, opted not to go into Liberators, so 7 Ravens. Here he should be able to mass disable and break this position. He's got the Raven count for it. He's got the Ravens. I like TvT. I mean, every matchup has their own downside, right? Like, I think TvT overall is one of the better mirror matchups. But there are cases like this that because of how the tank works, even if you're ahead, it can be difficult to kill. As we finally get our mass disables, tanks are going to go down. Takes down 1, takes down 2. Gets all 4 tanks. Nicely limped by Percival. Takes down the 4 tanks. Este pecoeta. Ga, baby, ga. But it's the same with ZVZ, right? Like ZVZ Roach Wars, like no one likes ZVZ Roach Wars. PvP, like when both players are passive and they take their 3rd and 4th bases and they build up into just pure Blink Stalker Gateway Army into like the mid game. I want my 1 base all ins, baby. True. That's so the reason why we cast PvP. Ah. So once again, Percival does get into the main base. Once again, does push forward. Catching up more tanks, nice anti-armor missile. I still believe Kira has the Viking advantage. Yeah, he still has the Viking lead, so it's still going to be a brutal fight here for Percival. Oof. As it doesn't quite break through. Just not enough Vikings back. Not enough Vikings. Percival does try to rotate, throwing down more turrets, still mass expanding as well. Again, Percival still has had the advantage this entire game. It's been Cure treading water for like 10 minutes, trying to survive. Again, he had some nice moments, like the drop into the main. Like that was like the big moment for Cure when he was able to kill, what was it, 12 SCVs, 12 plus. That was Cure's moment. Curie does break out, does catch a couple of tanks. A couple of tanks are out of position. I mean, the main army's out of position. Oh, Percival, he responds to this. Ideally, we would have seen Percival push through the center. But he wants to try to catch the main army. Does get the armor shred. Yeah, they shred each other. Ravens are going down. A shaky fight there by Percival. Leading out 3 Ravens. Once again, force the fight. Once again, he still doesn't quite have the Viking advantage. No. We need more Vikings back. Dude, we have 20 Vikings for Cure. Cure. He understood the assignment. 20 Vikings back. Insane. Again, TvT is all about air control. If you lack air control, you cannot move in. Like, you need that air superiority here over your opponents. And that's keeping Cure in this. There's soon to be 23 Vikings. First, he's almost at 20, but yeah, force to engage once again. Getting out more Vikings. Now, can Cure max out? If he can eventually max out, he can actually have a threatening force against Percival. As we mentioned before, like for the past 10 minutes, like Cure has been playing catch-up. But if he can max, he can potentially have a superior army. As he's going pure just tank Viking, essentially. Like tank Viking, a couple of Ravens. Making 6 more Vikings at a time. Getting up to like 30? Jesus, what are we, we're getting up to 30 Vikings, Pappy. Crazy. Oh, the Vikings. As nice catch. Catching out 2 Vikings and a Raven. Master Sable here on the tanks. Percival is gaining ground, and the Cure, he didn't quite max out. He didn't quite get there. Gonna be zoned away. Loving the use of the Thors as long as they don't ever extend. Thor's gonna be a great supportive tool here for the Vikings. They can support well. Oof. As Percival does take some shots to the face. So he has to pull away. Thor's do punish. Better fight for Percival. Oh, another Sable. Thor's one of them does get focused down. Oh no, we still have both. Never mind. We still have both. Yeah, and with that, finally Percival, he does take the win. He does win the fight in the air. For the first time in, like, again, 12 minutes, GG gets called, takes on all the Vikings, and Percival, he will tie the series 1-1. We are going to the ace match. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Again, Percival, he was able to claim an early lead here, able to cripple the economy, cripple the army of Cure early on, referring to the Marine backstab. If you remember, there was a moment where both armies were posturing in the center of the map. Percival, he got across the map with his Marine army. He was able to get 18 SCV kills. It was insane damage dealt, and Cure, he never quite recovered. He was just playing from behind from the early game, essentially from the early to mid game, and due to the nature of the tanks, and of course due to the nature of the fact that Cure, he just went into mass Viking production at one point, we saw that Percival couldn't quite kill, couldn't quite overwhelm until the very, very end there. Again, the Thors, they played their part. They did support the Vikings very, very nicely. GG. GG, well played. With that, we're going to be getting to the ace match. Going to be loading into Winter Madness. Let's go. Let us go. So getting into our ace match. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Winter Madness, we have the orange Terran player. We have the South Korean Terran representing Team Liquid. It is Gyor. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have the blue Terran player. We have the South Korean Terran. It is Percival. Let's go. Let us go. So settling into game number 3, settling into the ace match here. Again, Cure, he did have a very rough early to mid game in the last game, losing his advantage or losing momentum early on. We'll see if we can tighten things up here when it comes to positional play and when it comes to our mid game setup. But now we're going to be opening up Welcome to Winter Madness. After some aggressive maps like Tourmaline and Ruby Rock, we can finally calm things down on a larger map instead. Winter Madness does typically favor longer and later games. Unlike the previous map, there are more bases to expand to, and there's also more space in between these bases. I would say it's easier to maintain a 3, 4, and 5 base economy here on Winter Madness. So we'll see. We'll see how we do approach this. Again, a higher chance we do have a longer back and forth. I will say, though, that typically our players do want to avoid that longer later game, specifically Percival, so he's willing to be more active and more aggressive when we get up to 3 bases. We'll see. We shall see. Once again, no proxy. Once again, no proxy, no cheese. SCVs, they move out across the map. Move out. As the SV does get thrown down. Sorry, the CC gets thrown down. It is going to be an economic opener here by Percival. Meanwhile, double gas out of Cure. Interesting. Double gas opener. We do have a faster factory. It looks like Cure was assuming that Percival was going to go for a proxy. We haven't had a proxy yet in the series, and proxies are very common in TvT, especially on Winter Madness because the map is so large. There's a lot of places to hide Raxes. So because of this, there's a lot of pressure on Cure. Percival is ahead economically. We'll take an economic lead. So the onus is on Cure to get across the map to snipe some SCVs. Reaper does move out, does get intercepted. Ooh. Is intercepted. Percival is keeping up, Marine is on the high ground. And shoots first. Yeah, he does shoot first. Cure has to get the hell out of here, has to pull away. Has to race back. Behind this, Cure is getting to zone Rax and factory follow-up into Reaper Hellion. From here, the goal is economic damage to bust in, to rush past the bunker into the mineral line, and hopefully get 3 or 4 SCV kills. That will be enough to even things up. Oof. Once again, he is punished. Doesn't quite get in. To her 1-1-1 follow-up. Standard follow-up. Hellion will help support. Hellion shot doesn't quite connect. Oof. Bit of friendly fire. Yeah, a little bit. So far, very patient play by Percival. Very nice. Takes down one of the Reapers, and Percival, he defends without losing a single SCV. Ay, ay, ay. Ooh, off-center. Didn't even notice. My apologies. Yeah, Command Center was a little bit off-center. That does delay a little bit. Here we go. The Reaper Hellion does ignore the bunker. Percival, he does pull away. Pulls away his workers. Hellion shot does graze the Hellion. Yeah, a lot of hits there for Percival. And Percival, he should be able to clean this up. The boys are being pulled, getting a little bit desperate. Oh, the Hellion shot. Oh no, we're lining up. Oh my god. Here, boys did pull back, and Percival defends. Yeah, he does defend. In the end, Percival, he lost 1 Reaper, 1 Hellion, 2 Marines. For 2 Hellions and 3 Reapers, so far a better trade for Percival. He does hold, and again, he maintains a stronger economy. As you can see here, Percival, he's up by 3 SCVs. He's up by 3 workers. And Percival is going to extend his lead by going for the faster 3rd CC. Ooh, okay. Part of me believed that maybe Cure would go for the faster 3rd instead to make up for the lost economy, but no, he's playing much more standard, getting into his own Ravens, into Cyclone production. Percival does come out ahead in the early game slightly, and we'll see if he can, again, snowball that into a lead, into a stronger lead, I should say. The pressure is still on Cure. And he's going to move out. Cyclones they found on the right. Marines are in position here on the left. Just ready for any kind of move outs, any kind of drop play. And Cure now goes for a TC on location. Okay. This is a little bit greedy here, but Cure needs to be greedy, right? He has to take chances, he has to take risks, he has to cut corners. So CC on location. Scan across the map confirms the CC on the high grounds and confirms the production setup. Stim alongside interference matrix. Oh, double liberator? Huh. It's a bit odd. You don't often see that this early on. So that's a big risk here, a big gamble for Cure. I mean, obviously liberators, they can excel, they can do a lot of economic damage. We'll see what they can get done. Cure is rallying across the map. Does rally across. Oh. Catching at the Cyclone. Nice catch out of Cure. It's moving in. Let's move in to go within range of the add-on. Reactor's being focused down. Ooh, and his tank is going to get caught. Ay, ay, ay. Did cost an extra auto turret, so does spend 1 more. Does snipe the tank though. Nice pick up here by Percival. Stim is not yet done. Oof. Oh, the tank shot though. The Liberators have now arrived, but I mean, this is now a weaker army. Greek on siege. Did you get the quick on siege? Curie just bullying his way forward. He's got 2 more Liberators behind him. Jesus. He's rallying more tanks, rallying more Liberators. Again, we need that air control. And Percival, does he have to pull the boys to break out of this? So far, still on the edge. Stim is done. And it can disable both tanks. Speaking of, there it is. Here, it does disable. The boys are being pulled. And with that, it'll break out. Yeah, he will break out. He breaks through the Liberators, breaks through the tank line as well. SCVs are falling. That's going to be 8 SCV kills. But Percival will clean up everything. As I mentioned, did have to pull the boys. That's cost him some of the economy here, but he does break out, and now it's time to counterattack. He needs to. Behind this, Curie's been greedy. Remember, he has been making workers, his third CC on location. Curie's racing back home. Curie did retain his Ravens at least. True. Still has the Ravens. But again, Percival, he's up in tanks, up in Marines, up in Ravens. He's up in Army. The Liberators will make things awkward here. And Percival, he has to break through. Let's pull the tank. The army slips into the natural just directly. Oh my god. Curie's out of position. Yeah, completely out of position here. Marines, they rush in. They focus on the Liberator. Liberator goes down. Takes out both the tanks as well. And again, this setup here just does not help. Curie caught with his pants down. Add-ons are going to be falling. Denies the upgrades. Takes down another Liberator. And the tanks as well. The auto turrets. Oh my god. Yeah, takes down the final tank. And with that, Curie's being he's just being shut down. Being shut down. Third base is going to be falling. Massive tank shots. CC falls. GG gets called. And Percival, he will claim the series 2-1. Advancing on to the semi-finals. GG. Whew. GG, well played. A very aggressive game here by Curie. I mean, he had to be. Remember, Curie was playing from behind economically, so he was being hyper aggressive. I was shocked to see him rally Liberators across map out of all things, and he was wedging himself in. But unfortunately, Percival, he was just being so patient. Percival, he was able to pull away his army. He preserved his forces, waited for additional Marines, additional tanks before eventually breaking out and eventually shutting down the army. And of course, Curie didn't really have much to defend back at home. There is a world where if Curie spots a rotation in time, that he unsieges and he resieges in position on the ramp outside of the natural, but you saw that that was a gap, right? You saw that there was a gap there was an opening, and Percival just went straight in, and the game did end then and there. GG. GG, well played. With that, Percival does claim the series. Sorry, there we go. Percival, he does claim the series. Does advance on. There we go. Does advance on into the next round, where he's going to be up against a hero in the next round in the semis. Oh my god. Bearing in mind that for the PiGosaur Cup, they do have a very unique format in the sense that semifinals are best of 5s. These are best of 5s, not best of 3s. So we do have a longer series ahead of us.